welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at gods5minutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Jesus described the nature of his relation to us in Luke 17. But which of you, having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, will say unto him by and by, when he is come from the field, Go and sit down to meat? Will not rather say unto him, Make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird yourself and serve me till I have eaten and drunken, and afterward you shall eat and drink? Doth he thank that servant because he did the things that were commanded him? I trow not. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, We're unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do. The description is between a master and a slave who is his property, who has no rights, no possessions, whose life and death are at the absolute disposal of his master. It is a foul and wicked relation which existed between people, and it has been full of cruelty and atrocities. But Jesus Christ lays his hand upon it and says, that is a relation between man and God. That is a relation between men and me. And what is involved therein? Absolute authority, so that the slave is but, as it were, an animated instrument in the hand of the master with no will of his own, no rights, and no possessions. That is not all of our relation to God, but it is in our relation to him. And the highest title that a person can have is a title which the apostles took, rather, a slave of Jesus Christ. Those things which in the human relation are ugly and inconsiderate belong essentially to our relation of God. You're here to work, says the master, and when you have finished one task, that does not involve that you are to rest. It involves only that you are to take up another. However wearisome has been the plowing amongst the heavy clods all day long, when you come in, you are to clean yourself up, and get my supper ready, and afterward you shall eat and drink. Such a speech would show a harsh human master, but is there not a truth which is not harsh in it in reference to us and God? Duty never ends. The eternal persistence through life of the obligation to service is what is taught us here, as being inherent in the very relation between the Lord and owner of us all and us his slaves. The Christian thought is, Thou hast beset me behind and before, and hast laid thine hand upon me, and wherever I am under obligation to serve thee, no past record of work absolves me from the work of the present. From the cradle to the grave, I walk beneath an all-encompassing, overarching firmament of duty. As long as we draw breath, we are bound to the service of him whose slaves we are, and whose service is perfect freedom. Such is the bearing of this apparently repulsive representation of our text, which is not so repulsive if you come to think about it. It does not in the least set aside the natural craving for recreation and relaxation, and repose. It doesn't overlook God's obligation to keep his slave alive and in good condition for doing his work by bestowing upon him the things that are needful for him. But it does meet that temptation which comes to us all to take that rest which circumstances may make manifestly not God's will, and it says to us, Forget the things that are behind and reach forth unto the things that are before. You have done a long day's work with plow or harrow. The reward for work is more work. Come away indoors now, and nearer the master, prepare his table. But what does it come to? Just this, that no one among us, by any amount or completeness of obedience to the will of God, establishes claims on God for a reward, making him able to earn his own salvation. For while Christ rather has a right to lay these harsh claims upon us, yet he has been pleased to change us from being disciples to being brethren, fellow citizens in the kingdom, dear subject of his sovereignty, joint heirs of the gospel. We do well to give him the homage of slaves, but it is his just pleasure to make us, are you ready for it, the apple of his eye. Have you talked to him today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at godsfiveminutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.